Hello YouTube, this is Billy. Today I'm coming to you with a 2000 model Lexus GS 300 and I'm replacing a wheel stud. The wheel stud broke on me. I've actually got the broken piece in my pocket because I just came back from the parts store, and this would be the part number that I went with, 611167. And it's a really great match, and I wanted to share the information with people that may need to know this. Maybe I can help some people. In any event, your brake caliper here, on the back side there's 2 bolts, and it's a 17 millimeter. On this back side you got this bolt here and this bolt here. They're just little short bolts. When you take those bolts out, you will be able to carefully pull the caliper away from the rotor. And like me, I set it up here. I carefully set it up there, that way it's not dangling, because on your brake line here, you don't want the weight of it just dangling. So if you're able to zip tie it or something, for me, I just set it up there and kind of tucked it back in there, and it stayed real well for me. So this is what it looks like at the moment. I'm gonna get those 2 bolts out and set this down. Once I get those bolts set down and I get this tucked up here, then this rotor will just slide off like this. So that's what I'm about to do now. Okay, now on replacing the wheel stud, you can see I've already I took a hammer and tapped on it so that it would come out the backside. Now, one of the first things that you're gonna want to need to do is put some chocks around the front wheels so that it can't roll forward, can't roll backward. I got a jack stand on both sides of the car. The rear end of this car is all the way up off the ground. You can see the other tire over there. It's up off the ground. The reason why the whole rear end of the car is up off the ground is because I had to get it into neutral so that I could spin this wheel hub to find the sweet spot where it'll let you get the stud out. And in my case, and this is a 2000 Lexus GS 300, in my case it was right here. See this big hole right there? The wheel stud would wiggle back in there and then into the hole. Okay, same thing with removing the one that was in there. I was able to go, the head of it would go back inside there and then just wiggle and wiggle and wiggle until you just get it out. So, and then on getting the new one in there, same thing. You just come in like this, and then get the tip to come in, and then pull it in, and put a bolt, a nut on there, and when you torque that nut in, it's going to pull that. It's going to sink it down to where it sinks down inside the hole. Okay, and then when you put the tire on and you torque it down real good to make sure that wheel stud gets pulled all the way in good. Okay, so for this vehicle right there, and getting the vehicle up in the air so that you can have it neutral, of course with the wheels chalked real good so that the car doesn't move on you, and you're able to turn it to find that little sweet spot, and for me it was right there. Okay, so I slipped the wheel stud, the new one. See, it's on there. See, right now it's still loosey-goosey. I slid it in there, and actually when I slid it in there, I actually dropped it, and it was all the way back in there. And what I did is I took my little magnet and I went straight in the hole where the stud is. I went straight into it and then got the magnet on the tip of it and then pulled it close to the hole, and with it and then I put my finger on it like that, and then I put the magnet on the end. I put my magnet on the end of it like that, and then pulled it through the hole, and then I got the new lug nut onto the stud, and see how it's loose. So now I'm going to just go ahead and do it as good as I can with my fingers, and then I'll put my tire tool on there, and I will begin torquing this in so that this starts pulling in. And I'll probably get it maybe a quarter of the way or close to half of the way, and then I'll get the wheel stud back off, the lug nut back off, and then I'll put the tire on. And then when I torque the tire down, I'll make sure that I torque this one down really well so that that sucks all the way down. Okay, so I got it. I put my lug wrench on that wheel lug nut, and I got it to tighten into the hole a little bit. And after doing that, now I've just slid the wheel. See the rotor? I just now slid it on. Okay, so now I'm going to carefully get the brake caliper into place and get those bolts back in, and then I'll carefully get the wheel on there. And when I torque this one down, I'm going to make sure I torque that down real good so that it pulls that stud the rest of the way. Okay, now I just got those two bolts torqued back into place. Now I'm ready to carefully, now when I put the wheel on, I'm going to be real careful that I don't bump this one too hard, because it's in there a little bit, but it's not in there all the way yet. So I'm going to very carefully get that wheel put on, and then get the lug nuts into place. And when I torque this one down, I'm going to make sure that I get this one torqued down really well so that it pulls that stud the rest of the way in. Okay, so the wheel is still up off the ground. Okay, so the wheel can turn because it's all the way up off the ground. And I was real careful that the new one, when I put the wheel on, I made sure I had my flashlight rigged up just real good so that I could stare through the wheel as I put it on, and made sure I did not bump that little stud that wasn't in all the way yet. You know, I mean, it was in, just not all the way, so you don't want to like bump it and have to redo everything. So I just eyeballed it real careful and put the wheel on, and then got all of the lug nuts on as good as I could with my fingers. And I went ahead and put the lug wrench on there and got them as good as I can. You know, I'm not trying to torque it yet because it's still up off the ground. So now that I've got them on a little bit, I'm gonna go ahead and get the car back to the ground. And when the car's to the ground, then I will go ahead and torque them all down, paying extra attention to the new one that I just put on, and I'll torque that one really well so that that one pulls that stud the rest of the way. Okay, I took out the jack stand that was on the passenger side of the car, carefully lowered it down to the ground. Took out the jack stand that was on the driver's side of the car, carefully lowered it down. I have just now lowered the rear end of the car all the way to the ground. So now I'm gonna torque everything down, paying special attention to the one that's the new one. That way I get that stud to seat all the way. Okay, I just got through with it, and what I did is I torqued this one that was, because this is the new one, I torqued this one down, and when it torqued down, you could tell that it had torqued down good. So I'm just using a four-way. In any event, when this one bottomed out, you could tell that it bottomed out. Same thing with this one here. I did this one and this one, the two on each side of that new one. I did both of those first, and then I did this guy down here. And then my wheel lock, I had to put my little thing on it and torque that one down. In any event, so I saved this guy for last. And while I was turning and turning, I think I made about 10 or 11, 12 turns. When I say a turn, it's maybe half a turn, because I'd put the four-way on it, and then I would work it, then I'd put it back on it and work it. So it's, 10, 11, 12, something like that. And when it bottomed out, there was no question, because when it bottomed out, it felt exactly like the other ones. Okay, well, for anybody this video may help, everybody be safe out there, and good luck. Bye.